Me, 23 male, caught my girlfriend, 20 female, of almost 2 years cheating on me with her university junior. I also got humiliated by him and am in a very dark place right now. I have spent God knows how long just sitting here, smoking cigarettes and staring into space. Earlier this morning, I decided to go see how my girlfriend was doing after not seeing her for 3 days or so due to work. She had given me a spare set of keys to her place, and when I opened up the door, I saw her sitting on the couch with one of her university juniors. He's about 19, and had his head on her lap. I recognize him because we all attended the same university and I have seen him around a couple of times. Obviously, they were both initially shocked, but instead of going through the whole, "Please, I can explain" motion which I was hoping for so that I could get to the root of this, that guy walked right up to me, pointed at my face, and said something along the lines of me being too short and how pathetic I was. I am 5'4" and this already kills me inside every day. I felt so angry, but at the same time, I just could not do anything. He is this really good-looking 6 feet something guy, and at that moment, I really did feel so pathetic. What made things worse was that my girlfriend just stood there and did nothing. What I did next I will never forgive myself for. I just felt so pathetic and partially intimidated. I ran out of the house like the useless human being that I am. I could not even fight for the girl that I love and lost her to my university junior. She's been trying to call me, but I am not picking up. I do not know why I ran. I wish I had at least shoved him or something. I wish she thinks I am dead. I can't even tell my friends about this. I'm just too ashamed. Maybe being blessed with good genes is the only thing that matters in this world, because it obviously eradicates almost 2 years of love and bonding. I mean, I had absolutely no clue she was cheating. There were no red flags. Now I am just sitting here, feeling like an utter loser. I can't even cry. Help. Me. Reddit. TL.DR. Caught my girlfriend cheating, got insulted by the guy she was with who also happens to be my university junior. I responded by running away. Wife humiliated me on night out. What do I do? So my wife and I have been together for 4 years now, and we have been married for 2. Last weekend we both decided that it would be fun to go for a meal, then hit a local club afterward. Just us two. The meal was perfect and we spent the majority of our time discussing fond memories we have of each other. We also had an amazing time dancing with each other in the club, and I decided that we should leave after it grew apparent that some men were eyeing up my drunk wife. This is where it all went sour. We decided after leaving the club that we would grab a quick bite in a takeaway down the street. As we were waiting in line, a man who had also been clubbing started talking with us, mainly my wife, and he was a real smooth talker, told my wife how beautiful she was, and what was she doing with a man like me. I nervously laughed off these comments until he decided to invite us back to his place for a few drinks. I was questioning myself as to why he is inviting a married couple back to his apartment, so I told my wife to tell him that we're going to call it a night. To my astonishment, my wife said that we would love to join him. He only lived a 10-minute walk away from the club, and they were linking arms in front of me and excluding me from the conversation as we walked back. I understand what the F this is, but the dude was tall, mixed race, and pretty built. I guess I wanted to avoid unnecessary problems with him. We got to his place, and whilst he was in the kitchen pouring us drinks, I pleaded with my wife that he has the hots for her and that we should leave. She laughed it off and told me that he's pretty hot himself. What preceded was an incredibly uncomfortable series of events where we drank more. She sat on his lap stroking his beard whilst talking to me and even told me, "He's so attractive, isn't he?" Throughout this conversation it was incredibly hard to maintain eye contact with her on his lap. Other events included her feeling his biceps and telling me to do the same. After I obliged, she mentioned, "Why don't I go to the gym?" which made me incredibly self-conscious as I am a skinny guy. Now, I consider myself a man's man, but there was something about this whole situation that didn't sit well with me. He was an intimidating man and I was worried that if I said we should leave in his presence then things could turn ugly. Eventually, my wife and he passed out with her laying on top of him, and I decided to wake her up after a few hours when I felt things were safe. She has sobered up by this point, so I called a taxi and grilled her on the way home how she could do this to me. I'm at a loss. I feel my wife has completely disrespected me, and the only excuses she has given me over the past few days were that she was tipsy and wasn't thinking properly. She has also told me on a few occasions that I should have intervened, which wasn't possible in my opinion. She has also assured me that it will never happen again, but she wasn't even blackout drunk. I believe she was in the state to say no. I need your help, guys. Should I shrug this under the rug and move on with our lives? TLDR. Wife humiliates me with the guy we just met. Tells me I should have intervened. So freaking humiliated. I want to start this by saying I am not a perfect person. I have not done everything right. I am not the best husband. In fact, I may well be a POS, but tonight I hit the end. I want out and am getting out. I have had a rough stretch at work, life has been hard, but I have always gone out of my way to do more with my wife, be more open, and be more understanding. Today I hit the end. I was so worried she was sick. She wasn't. She lied and stayed home because she had something she wanted to watch on TV, so I offered to get myself to the train using Lyft. I got my ass kicked because I am passive-aggressive, was told if I am so pathetic I wanted a ride I could just ask. Was a long day, and offered to get myself home. She was obviously drunk when I talked to her and I didn't want her to get a DUI, but I got yelled again. After 28 years where I thought she was a friend, a partner, she straight up started screaming how wrong I am. I may have been wrong, maybe I would have liked a ride home, but her lies about caring, about being invested, about wanting to work stuff out were laid bare when I said, "Hey, let's go to bed, give me a hug, we will talk it out." Then I heard the truth. She said, "I have a show I watch at 9. And you sure as hell will not interrupt it." 28 years of lies, 28 years of let's be friends, 28 years of total BS just caved in on me. I am done. I want out. I am sick of feeling like a boring afterthought, sick of psychic medium shows, sick of being the lowest priority, sick of it all. I am done. I can't, no not can't, I won't do this anymore. I am worth more than this. I am tired of being made to feel like a dish rag. Screw this. I don't feel bad at all ending 28 years of me being a nobody and begging for 30 seconds of her time. Done with being made to feel like an inconvenience. I am moving on. Wife cheated. Crushed on so many levels. I'm going to try to be brief, but I'm a first-time Reddit poster but need some, anonymous, support. Last week I was trying to log into an account I share with my wife. I couldn't remember the password, and while she was asleep I looked at her phone. We've been married for almost 6 years and this is standard in our relationship. I went to look at the photos she had and there were selfies and sexually charged selfies, not her style at all. To make a long story short, I discovered she'd had sexting, and based on context clues, a sexual and emotional relationship with a guy she works with. I was crushed and sat on my porch bench in silence trying not to faint/cry/breakdown. Morning arrives and she texted me. "Where are you? Did you go to work already?" As much as I wanted to wake her up screaming the night before, I wanted to cool off and not do anything stupid. When confronted she cried, "From what I've read on this sub, the standard I don't know how it happened, I'm so stupid, I'm a freaking idiot." We haven't spoken in person since then, other than some texts about our dog's care, and one email I wrote basically saying I'm not ready to talk. Below are some things I need from you. I detailed some house/bill stuff I just either needed her help on or she needed to be aware. Plumber is coming Thursday. You're meeting him. I'm completely crushed and never would have imagined this. It's so far from who she was most of our relationship that it came completely out of the left field. Right now I don't think there's a way we can work it out. Our marriage had its troubles but we worked on it. What is killing me is the nature of what they were discussing and how. My wife was always closed off sexually. Her first partner was judgmental and that didn't help. I've always encouraged her to speak her mind but she's never opened up. Outside of missionary is wild for us. This didn't make me happy but it was something I'd learned to leave with. Her texts and photos, that she'd refused to send me, were raunchy, dirty, and so inappropriate. If they'd been to me I'd be walking on clouds. But they were to him. After years of working on our sexual relationship, I feel crushed like I was the butt of a long joke. They also discussed me like I was a pest or a kid. Is he bothering you again? It's okay, he thinks he knows how to. But he is kind of bad at that stuff, not like you. I hope your husband doesn't walk in. It'll be hard to explain the wet spot on your side of the bed. I hope you get the picture. Inversely, I've been as good a husband as I thought I could be. She had a distance assignment with work, so I doubled the time I spent on the house/chores. She wanted a vanity to do her makeup, I built it. She wanted to dress up for a date, we did, more of a flannel guy myself, but if it was for her I'd do it. I put her first in almost every way I knew how. Sexually, I've been as giving/caring as I know how, and while she wouldn't verbally communicate it, she usually seemed satisfied. Looking back, I see all the signs, but we were so solid, I thought, I didn't even pick up on it. During their affair, he came over for dinner one night, another night she had a headache, went to bed early, and sent him videos of her using adult toys on herself, while I was downstairs. Some of that last bit is so hurtful, emasculating, and confusing. I'm so lost. I don't know how I can speak to her again, much less even consider staying together. I spoke to a lawyer today about steps towards divorce. In my state, you can leave like roommates and be separated. In that sense, we've been separated for a week. Am I wrong to think there's no way out? Anyone else dealt with something similar? Anyone else feels embarrassed for being cheated on? How do you deal with it? I cannot talk to friends/family yet because it's too much to even think about. I am so close to her family that it's going to be so difficult. I also feel like being cheated on is a double-edged sword. On one hand, I'd like others to know what I've been going through, what she put me through, and on the other hand, I feel terribly embarrassed that she could cheat on me. I mean, embarrassed. Like I'm somehow cheatable, and that character flaw is mine to own. I doubt I'll find the answer, but support and confirmation that this is probably normal would be great. And also for anyone on here the night/day they discover it. I'm only a week out and it does get better. Stay strong. Honestly, I didn't feel embarrassed. There might have been a hint of something there, but not really. This was definitely something wrong with her on her side, and she knew/knows it. When I told a close friend for support and, unfortunately, he told his wife. There were a couple of times my wife hinted at it not getting out for my sake, and I just boldly told her I'm not worried or embarrassed. That was wrong of him to tell his wife, and I would address it and make sure they don't tell anybody else, but I definitely let her know that her doing what she did was not an issue on my part. I know my wife is ashamed of it. I don't bring it up or harass her because of it. She closes off her emotions to it. But I do let her know how it affects me when she goes out, or how/why it plays a part in me also wanting to split. She's going through therapy now, and her best friend has been extremely supportive and neutral through all of it. Because of this, she definitely understands she's got some serious hang-ups and baggage from her past. From being in this sub for a while, the vast majority of cheaters just don't have or give respect to themselves or others. Do not be embarrassed. Feel hurt, feel pain, grieve. But don't be embarrassed. They will forever be known as a cheater. You know how society views that, so they unfortunately unlock that achievement for themselves. You may have your flaws and issues, but you didn't cheat. This is on them. What you need to do is grieve properly and recover. Don't feel embarrassed for some incredibly immoral, destructive, and shameful decision/act that someone you love did. I feel incredibly embarrassed. My husband started having an affair a couple of months into my pregnancy with our first and only child, which I thought was the most blissful time of our lives. There was absolutely no indication that anything was going on. I was completely blindsided when he told me, and even further humiliated when I found out that his coworkers knew how much time he was spending with the other woman. I didn't even know she existed. It's further humiliating when we run into his old coworkers when we're out in public. Like, I have some character flaw that makes me cheatable, and I don't even have enough self-respect to leave him? It feels like people find a way to blame the betrayed because it makes them feel more assured in their own relationships. I think I was guilty of this prior to my own D-Day as well. Now I know better. All the time. Humiliation and shame come with it too. I have to see the other woman all the time, and it hurts so bad. I'm trying to pursue a normal relationship with her. She wasn't aware of me when it happened, but sometimes, I can barely look her in the eye. It feels like she beat me. Like he could pay me all the attention in the world, and she, as I imagine, can walk around knowing that she's beaten me, that she's better than me, and that his love for me can be overcome. It has severely wounded my pride and damaged my self-esteem. I have only told my therapist and my best friend, and that was embarrassing enough. Now, my embarrassment/shame/pain stands in the way of me getting the support I need. I struggle with this daily. It's not just embarrassment. It's humiliation. For me, it's knowing that when I walk into his old workplace, seeing people who knew what he was doing. Knowing all these people around me knew what was going on and I was completely oblivious. To have to look people in the eye who knew your husband was having an affair and no one ever told you, it's awful. I carry the weight of that humiliation with me daily, and it has by far been the worst pain I have ever experienced in this process. It's difficult to describe how awful it really feels. Like everyone is laughing at a joke but you aren't in on it because you are the joke. Really sucks. Luckily for me, my husband's affair was with someone no one else in our lives knows. She was a complete stranger that he met on a business trip. He met a ton of her friends and even her parents, but she never met anyone in his life. I told one friend about what was going on and will likely not tell anyone else in my lifetime. He told 3 of his family members and 2 friends. I haven't seen his friends and likely won't be seeing them often, but I do feel embarrassed when I see his family members. I feel ashamed for staying with him and stupid for not seeing the signs sooner. There was so much gaslighting and so many lies, and I chose to believe him when I shouldn't have. I just feel so stupid.